Hi everyone, my name is Shauna, in case you don't know, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about books that I want to be made into video games. I feel like there's not enough books that are made into video games, and there's so many books that I've read that I feel like would work better with this like long storyline with all these like mini quests in a video game format, and I feel like it would work better than like movies and stuff like that. Now granted, not all of these are going to be ones that I was super huge fan of in the book format, however I feel like all of these have a lot of potential to be an awesome video game. So without further ado, let's get into this. The first one that I think would make a great video game is the Circa Du Freak series. The reason I think this would be a good video game is because there's different like story arcs in there separated by 3 books. So like the first 3 books are a story arc, the next 3 books are a story arc, so I feel like it's very easy to split them up into the games. There is a completely unique story arc to each one, and there is a big adventure that happens. There's a lot of like exploration. There's specifically one like in this underground tunnel area that I feel like would make a very good creepy video game. And the Trials of Death one I feel like would make a very good video game. There's a lot of like awesome mini games, and I feel like there is so much potential for different side stories because there's the whole like Circa Du Freak, basically the whole like circus, and I feel like there's different side stories. Maybe you could like do some tasks for the different characters. You could get to see all of them a little more. I feel like that would be really fun. Next up is Percy Jackson, and they have tried different adaptations for Percy Jackson. So we have the movies, which I surprisingly enjoyed, although I did not think that it was necessarily the best in terms of sticking to what the book was like. And there was the Lightning Thief the musical, the Broadway, well, off-Broadway play. Wait, is it a Broadway play or off-Broadway? I'm not sure, I didn't get to see it. So I think that Percy Jackson would make a great video game series because there is big adventure, and I feel like there's a lot of games with mythology, and I feel like it would be so easy to just turn Percy Jackson into a video game. And there is also the elements between you could follow the main storyline, or either like after you finish the main storyline, or maybe the whole book just doesn't follow the main storyline and instead is like a fun training camp where you're just at Camp Half-Blood training. Like that would be a lot of fun, I feel like. So yeah, I feel like Percy Jackson would make a great video game, and there's so many different Percy Jackson spin-offs that like it doesn't have to even be focused on Percy Jackson. It could be like Trials of Apollo, Heroes of Olympus, like it could be any of the Rick Riordan series. It doesn't have to be strictly Percy Jackson, but they would make great video games in my opinion. Next up is Dragon Pearl. Dragon Pearl is one with a big like space sci-fi adventure. I feel like that adventure would be great for a story, and I feel like there's so many different like ways that they could make the ship, and you could explore the ship and just have fun like exploring this big world with all different planets. This is one where I feel like there would be a main storyline, but there would be like so many other side storylines of all these missions you can do on the different planets. There's so much potential there. And then the Hunger Games, but hear me out because I know that there is like some Hunger Games type games online, but I feel like one where you are more intensely like playing a survival game where you're like in the Hunger Games, and not so much like the versions that we already have, like the one where you input names and it tells you what happens, but like a hardcore survival game where you are in the arena. Like I feel like that would be very intense, and it could be like really realistic to be survival type. It doesn't have to be like cheesy like Fortnite, just like really real, and there's all this different potential for all these different arenas, and I feel like this could be really fun. And I feel like maybe you could like choose out your arena, or like it randomly assigns you an arena. I just feel like there's so much potential to turn the Hunger Games into like a good video game for Xbox or the PlayStation. Next up is Akata Witch. I think Akata Witch would make a very good video game. So first of all, there is 4 main characters, so I feel like you could change between which character you're playing with, and even if you aren't, you would be mainly playing as Sunny with the 3 other main characters as your like sidekicks who are helping you on your journey. I feel like there's potential to have a lot of like building up XP to get more powers and collecting coins to buy things. I feel like it would be a very fun fantasy game. And this next one is one that I actually didn't like the book, so I know this is gonna be surprising, like why do I want them made into a video game? Whatever. So Hunters of the Lost City is a book that I read recently, and Hunters of the Lost City has the potential to be a good open world game where there isn't so much a storyline that you're following, you just get to explore, do all these different side quests. I feel like there's a lot of potential for that because, well, I didn't like Hunters of the Lost City mainly because of the pacing and the characters. I really liked the world and all of the history to the world, so I feel like this could create a rich game where you don't have to follow a rigid storyline, and that could be really interesting. And also because I didn't like the characters in the book, it could also be sort of the like Sorcerer's War that is the history of this world, so it doesn't necessarily have to focus on these characters that I don't like. It could focus on completely different characters and just branch off the world. Like I feel like video games to some extent could follow the main plotline of a book, but they could also add so much lore and history to the worlds in these books. The final one that I think would make a great video game is actually inspired by the Nancy Drew video games. And I played one of the Nancy Drew video games when I was younger. I think I still have it. It's on the Wii. I was not good at video games. I was really not good at video games. So I never really beat any of the games that I was playing. But this one I feel like would have a good mystery like Nancy Drew. Okay, I've never said the title of the series out loud before, so I might butcher this really bad. But this series would make a very good video games like Nancy Drew, but generally more like kid-centered, like it'd be very kid-friendly. And oh, I'm gonna butcher this so bad. The Hermacs Tantamook Adventures. This is a 4-book series that's for middle grade / young adult / children / it's a little mixing up what genre it is. I would say more middle grade. However, there's a mystery to each one. It's focused mainly on rodents with some birds here and there, so like it would be very much kid-friendly, because I feel like we don't have enough kid-friendly video games. We have a lot of violent video games, and I'm always shocked when I'm hearing like 8-year-olds saying like, oh, I play Halo, I play Call of Duty, I play Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm like, what? So I feel like we need more kid video games, and I feel like this series would make a fun video game adventure for kids that would be really like captivating and interesting. And I feel like there would probably be some way to take this story and add a lot of reading elements on the screen so that kids are also getting educational things that they're taking away from it. So this was all for today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to me if you haven't already. If you have read any books that you think would make great video games, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, because I'm very curious to hear what people say. We always hear people talking about like, oh, which book do you want to be made into a movie? Which one do you want to be made into a TV show? And I'm like, you're ignoring that there's another medium that books could be turned into. They could also be turned into plays, which maybe I'll make a different video about that. But I feel like there's a ton of books out there, especially fantasy and science fiction books, that would be better video games than movies. So again, I'm very curious to hear if anyone else has any books that they think would make great video games. And I upload 2 videos a week, so my next video will be coming out this Friday, so I hope all of you stick around to watch that. You can turn on the notification bell to get notified when that video comes out. I hope everyone is having a great start to your week, and until next time, goodbye!